This book explores the profound connection between human consciousness and the universe, offering a revolutionary perspective on the nature of the mind. It's a journey through the depths of the psyche, where ordinary and extraordinary experiences reveal new dimensions of reality. This exploration will be unveiled in 7 captivating points that promise to expand your understanding of yourself and the cosmos. In the heart of every challenge lies a hidden opportunity, and Alejandro Jodorowsky's PSYCHOMAGIA unveils the transformative power of the mind to heal and transcend. This book is a mystical journey, offering tools to break free from deep-seated psychological barriers through creativity, ritual, and symbolism. Here are 7 captivating ideas from the book that will change the way you see yourself and your potential for growth. 1. The Sacred Trap. Imagine walking into a world where the ordinary rules of reality are bent, where the impossible becomes possible, and where healing is achieved not through pills or potions, but through the power of symbolic acts. This is the world Alejandro Jodorowsky invites us into with his concept of the sacred trap. In this realm, the mind and spirit are guided to healing through the use of creative, and sometimes startling, symbolic actions that resonate deeply with our unconscious. The sacred trap is a method that Jodorowsky describes as a way to trick the unconscious mind into healing itself. This isn't deception in the negative sense, but a profound understanding of how our minds work. The unconscious mind doesn't respond to logic or reason in the way our conscious mind does. It communicates through symbols, dreams, and images, much like how we process our most vivid memories or interpret our deepest fears. Jodorowsky, with his background in theater and surrealist art, recognized this and used it to develop a method where healing acts are not just prescribed, but performed in a way that speaks directly to the unconscious. For example, let's say someone is struggling with a sense of worthlessness, a feeling that has haunted them since childhood, possibly because of critical parents or a string of failures. Traditional therapy might focus on talking through these feelings, understanding their origin, and working to change the person's mindset. Jodorowsky, however, would prescribe a symbolic act, perhaps advising the person to create a statue representing their inner worth and then, in a ceremony, to honor this statue every day, giving it gifts or lighting candles around it. This act is more than just ritualistic. It's a way of bypassing the rational mind and speaking directly to the unconscious, affirming the person's value in a language that their deeper self can understand. In another scenario, a person who feels trapped in a toxic relationship might be advised to write a letter to the partner expressing all their pent-up emotions, then burn it in a symbolic ceremony, watching the smoke rise as a representation of releasing their pain. The act of burning the letter isn't just a metaphor. It's a powerful message to the unconscious that the person is ready to let go and move on. This is the essence of the sacred trap, using symbolism to enact change on a level that transcends ordinary consciousness. The beauty of the sacred trap lies in its accessibility. Unlike some therapeutic methods that require years of practice or deep understanding of psychology, anyone can participate in these symbolic acts. They don't require you to believe in magic or even fully understand the process. The key is the action itself, which resonates with the parts of our mind that are most resistant to change. By engaging in these acts, we effectively trap the unconscious into a new pattern of thinking and feeling, leading to real, tangible change in our lives. Jodorowsky's approach stems from his time spent observing and learning from various healers and shamans. He noticed that many of their rituals involved seemingly absurd or nonsensical actions, yet these actions had profound effects on those who participated. These rituals worked because they bypassed the critical, analytical parts of the mind and spoke directly to the unconscious. The sacred trap is his way of bringing these ancient practices into the modern world, combining them with his own creative genius to develop a therapeutic method that is both unique and deeply effective. But what happens after the ritual? This is where the true power of the sacred trap is revealed. After the symbolic act is performed, the changes it initiates begin to ripple through the person's life. It's as if the act plants a seed in the unconscious, which then starts to grow, changing not only how the person feels, but also how they perceive the world and interact with it. This growth can lead to the resolution of long-standing issues, the breaking of destructive patterns, and the opening up of new possibilities that were previously unimaginable. In this sense, the sacred trap is not just a tool for healing. It's a doorway to transformation. By engaging in these symbolic acts, we embark on a journey into the depths of our unconscious, where we confront our deepest fears and desires and emerge with a new sense of clarity and purpose. It's a journey that requires courage and openness, but the rewards are profound. A life lived with greater freedom, joy, and authenticity. In the end, the sacred trap is a reminder that sometimes the most profound healing comes not from logic or reason, but from creativity, intuition, and the power of symbols. It's an invitation to explore the hidden corners of our psyche, to embrace the unknown, and to discover the incredible potential that lies within each of us. 2. The power of the unconscious mind. In the depths of our minds lies a force so powerful. It shapes our reality, influences our actions, and even holds the keys to our healing. Alejandro Jodorowsky's exploration of the unconscious mind in PSYCHOMAGIA reveals a world where the boundaries between the conscious and the unconscious blur, allowing us to tap into a wellspring of creativity, intuition, and transformative power. This force, often underestimated or misunderstood, operates in ways that are as mysterious as they are profound, guiding our lives from behind the scenes. The unconscious mind is not a dark and chaotic place, as it is often portrayed. Instead, Jodorowsky describes it as a realm rich with symbols, images, and memories that speak a language all their own. This language is not one of logic or reason, but of metaphors, dreams, and emotions. It's a world where a single image can carry the weight of 1,000 words, and where every symbol holds the potential to unlock hidden aspects of our psyche. Jodorowsky's approach to harnessing the power of the unconscious mind is deeply rooted in his belief that true healing comes from engaging with this symbolic language. He explains that many of the issues we face in life, whether physical, emotional, or psychological, are expressions of unresolved conflicts within our unconscious. These conflicts manifest as symptoms, calling out for our attention, urging us to look deeper. For instance, a recurring physical ailment might be the unconscious mind's way of highlighting a psychological wound that has yet to be healed. Rather than merely treating the symptom, Jodorowsky encourages us to decode the symbolic message behind it, to understand what the unconscious is trying to communicate. One powerful example of this is the concept of dreams as messages from the unconscious. Dreams are often dismissed as mere byproducts of sleep, but Jodorowsky views them as a direct line to our deeper selves. In his practice, he has seen how dreams can reveal unresolved fears, unacknowledged desires, and even suppressed memories. By paying attention to these nightly visions, we can gain insight into the issues that are affecting us in our waking lives. Jodorowsky suggests that by engaging with these dream symbols, through rituals, creative expression, or even reenactments, we can begin to resolve the conflicts they represent. The unconscious mind also plays a crucial role in the practice of psychomagic, Jodorowsky's unique therapeutic method. Psychomagic works by bypassing the conscious mind's defenses and speaking directly to the unconscious. This is achieved through symbolic acts that resonate with the individual's inner world, often addressing the root cause of their distress in a way that conventional therapy might not. For example, someone struggling with a fear of abandonment might be asked to perform a ritual that symbolizes letting go, such as cutting ties with an object that represents a past relationship. This act, though seemingly simple, communicates to the unconscious mind in a language it understands, facilitating a profound internal shift. Jodorowsky illustrates how the unconscious mind is deeply connected to the collective unconscious, a concept introduced by Carl Jung. This collective layer of the unconscious contains the shared memories, symbols, and archetypes of humanity as a whole. It's a reservoir of knowledge and experience that transcends individual consciousness. When we tap into this collective unconscious, we access a wealth of wisdom that can guide us through our personal challenges. Jodorowsky believes that by aligning our actions with the archetypal energies present in the collective unconscious, we can achieve a greater sense of harmony and purpose in our lives. Yet, the power of the unconscious mind is not just about solving problems or healing wounds. It's also about accessing the creative potential that lies dormant within us. Jodorowsky emphasizes that the unconscious is a source of immense creativity, capable of producing ideas, images, and solutions that the conscious mind could never generate on its own. This is why many artists, writers, and thinkers throughout history have drawn inspiration from their dreams, visions, and meditations. By learning to listen to and engage with our unconscious, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and creative expressions that can enrich our lives in countless ways. Ultimately, Jodorowsky's message is one of empowerment. He invites us to recognize the unconscious mind not as a passive repository of memories, but as an active participant in our lives. By acknowledging its power and learning to communicate with it, we can take control of our destinies, heal our deepest wounds, and unlock our fullest potential. The unconscious mind is not something to be feared or ignored. It is a powerful ally on our journey towards self-discovery and personal growth. 3. Breaking family curses with psychogenealogy. In every family, there are hidden stories, secrets, traumas, and unresolved conflicts that pass silently from one generation to the next. These inherited burdens can shape our lives in ways we might not even realize, influencing our choices, relationships, and sense of self. Alejandro Jodorowsky, through his work in PSYCHOMAGIA, dives deep into this phenomenon, which he calls psychogenealogy. He believes that by uncovering and addressing these family legacies, we can break the chains of inherited suffering and pave the way for personal liberation. Psychogenealogy starts with a simple but profound idea. We are not just individuals living isolated lives. We are part of a larger tapestry woven by our ancestors. The patterns, behaviors, and even the psychological wounds of our parents, grandparents, and further back are carried within us. These are not just genetic traits, but also emotional and psychological imprints that can dictate the course of our lives. Jodorowsky illustrates this by pointing out how family dynamics often repeat across generations, like a haunting melody that plays out in different variations, but always with the same underlying theme. Imagine a person who, despite their best efforts, finds themselves repeatedly struggling with the same issues. Perhaps it's a pattern of failed relationships, chronic illness, or a persistent feeling of inadequacy. Conventional therapy might focus on the individual's life experiences to uncover the root cause, but Jodorowsky encourages us to look further back into the family history. It's here that we might discover that this person's struggles are not entirely their own, but echoes of a past unresolved by their ancestors. Perhaps a grandmother lived a life of unfulfilled dreams, and now, 2 generations later, her granddaughter feels a strange and unexplained sense of limitation. Or maybe a great-grandfather experienced a traumatic event, and now, decades later, his descendants are inexplicably drawn to situations that replicate that trauma. Jodorowsky offers the metaphor of a family tree to describe this complex web of inherited influences. Each branch represents a different member of the family, and the patterns that emerge as we trace the branches reveal the invisible forces at work in our lives. He describes the family tree as not just a record of biological lineage, but as a map of psychological and emotional connections that shape who we are. By studying this map, we can begin to see how the struggles of our ancestors might be playing out in our own lives. One of the most compelling aspects of psychogenealogy is the idea that these inherited issues are not set in stone. They can be addressed and resolved. Jodorowsky's approach involves bringing these hidden family dynamics into the light of consciousness, often through symbolic acts that he terms psychomagic. These acts are designed to break the cycle of inherited suffering by communicating directly with the unconscious mind, both of the individual and, in a sense, the family lineage. For instance, if someone discovers that they are carrying the emotional burden of an ancestor who was never able to express their creativity, Jodorowsky might suggest a symbolic act that allows the person to complete the unfinished business of their ancestor. This could involve creating something artistic in honor of that ancestor, thereby releasing the pent-up energy that has been passed down through the generations. The idea is that by symbolically addressing the unresolved issues of our ancestors, we can free ourselves from their influence and live more fully in the present. The power of psychogenealogy lies in its ability to transform what might seem like a personal failure or limitation into an opportunity for healing and growth. Rather than seeing ourselves as victims of our family history, we can become active participants in the process of healing, not just for ourselves, but for our entire family line. Jodorowsky describes this as a process of breaking the curse, a way to stop the cycle of suffering that has been passed down through generations and replace it with a new legacy of healing and empowerment. As we engage with our family tree, we might also discover positive legacies, strengths, talents, and wisdom that have been passed down alongside the challenges. Psychogenealogy encourages us to embrace these positive aspects of our heritage as well, integrating them into our sense of self. In this way, the process is not just about resolving past traumas, but also about reclaiming the gifts of our ancestors and using them to build a better future. In PSYCHOMAGIA, Jodorowsky presents psychogenealogy as a powerful tool for personal transformation. It's a journey into the past, not to dwell on old wounds, but to heal them and, in doing so, liberate ourselves from the invisible chains of our family history. By breaking these chains, we not only free ourselves, but also open the door to a new legacy for future generations. A legacy of healing, creativity, and growth. For the fusion of art and therapy. In Alejandro Jodorowsky's world, art is not merely a form of expression. It is a powerful tool for healing. He believes that the boundary between art and therapy is fluid, and that creativity can be harnessed to heal the wounds of the soul. This idea is central to Jodorowsky's work in PSYCHOMAGIA, where he blends artistic creativity with therapeutic practices to create a unique form of healing that transcends conventional methods. Jodorowsky's journey into the fusion of art and therapy began with his deep love for the arts. As a director, actor, and writer, he was always immersed in the world of creativity, but he quickly realized that the power of art went far beyond entertainment. He saw how people could transform through their engagement with creative activities, how they could express emotions that were otherwise buried deep within, and how they could find meaning in the symbolic language of art. This realization led him to explore how artistic expression could be used as a form of therapy. One of the most profound ways in which Jodorowsky uses art in therapy is through what he calls psychomagic. This is a method where he prescribes symbolic acts to his clients, acts that often involve elements of art, theater, or ritual. These acts are not random. They are carefully designed to resonate with the unconscious mind, tapping into the deep well of emotions and experiences that traditional talk therapy might not reach. For instance, a person struggling with grief might be asked to create a sculpture that represents their loss. Then, in a symbolic ceremony, to bury the sculpture, allowing them to physically and emotionally release the grief they have been carrying. Jodorowsky also emphasizes the importance of creativity in the therapeutic process. He believes that everyone has an inherent creative potential, and that by engaging with this creativity, individuals can find new ways of understanding and addressing their issues. This doesn't mean that everyone needs to be a painter or a poet, but rather that they need to find their own form of expression, whether it's through writing, drawing, dancing, or even cooking. The act of creation allows people to externalize their internal struggles, to see them from a new perspective, and to begin the process of healing. A striking example of this fusion of art and therapy can be seen in Jodorowsky's approach to treating psychological trauma. He might ask a client to reenact a painful experience in a controlled, artistic setting, such as writing and performing a play that dramatizes their trauma. This process allows the client to confront their pain in a safe environment, to explore it from different angles, and ultimately to rewrite the narrative of their experience. The creative act becomes a way of reclaiming power over the trauma, turning the client from a passive victim into an active creator of their own story. Jodorowsky's belief in the healing power of art extends to his view of the world itself as a work of art. He encourages people to see their lives as a canvas on which they can paint their desires, dreams, and visions. This perspective shifts the focus from merely coping with life's challenges to actively creating a life that is meaningful and fulfilling. In this way, art becomes not just a form of therapy, but a philosophy of life, one that embraces the idea that we are all artists, capable of shaping our own reality. Moreover, Jodorowsky argues that the act of creating art can itself be therapeutic, even if the artist is not consciously trying to address a specific issue. The process of creation, with its focus on the present moment, can bring about a state of flow where the mind is free from worry and self-doubt. This state of flow is inherently healing, as it allows individuals to connect with their true selves, to express their innermost thoughts and feelings, and to experience a sense of accomplishment and joy. The fusion of art and therapy in Jodorowsky's work is not limited to individual healing. He also sees it as a way to heal communities and societies. Through collective artistic projects, people can come together to express shared experiences, to confront collective traumas, and to build a sense of unity and purpose. In this sense, art becomes a form of social therapy, a way to heal the divisions and wounds that exist within groups and communities. In PSYCHOMAGIA, Jodorowsky presents a vision of therapy that is as creative and expansive as life itself. He challenges us to see beyond the conventional boundaries of therapy and to embrace the healing potential of art in all its forms. Whether through painting, writing, theater, or any other creative endeavor, Jodorowsky invites us to use art as a tool for healing, transformation, and growth. It is a call to see ourselves not just as patients seeking cures, but as artists capable of creating our own path to wellness. 5. Transformative rituals for personal liberation. At the heart of Alejandro Jodorowsky's PSYCHOMAGIA lies a powerful idea. True transformation requires more than understanding. It needs action. And not just any action, but deeply symbolic rituals that speak directly to the unconscious mind. For Jodorowsky, transformative rituals are essential for breaking free from the limitations of the past and liberating the soul from emotional or psychological entanglements. These rituals are not merely gestures. They are crafted with deep intention, aimed at shifting the patterns that hold us back. One of the key aspects of these rituals is their personal nature. Jodorowsky believes that each person's path to liberation is unique, and therefore, the rituals they perform must be tailored to their specific struggles. He draws from a wide range of influences, blending elements of magic, theater, and psychotherapy to create what he calls psychomagic. This practice focuses on prescribing symbolic actions that allow the unconscious mind to express itself freely and to heal from old wounds. Through these rituals, people are able to confront their fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts in ways that traditional therapy often cannot achieve. For instance, Jodorowsky might suggest a symbolic act to someone who feels stuck in life. This person might have been conditioned by years of negative thinking, doubts, or past failures. Rather than merely talking about these feelings, the person might be asked to perform a specific ritual, perhaps planting a tree in a place of personal significance. This act represents the planting of new possibilities, the nurturing of growth, and the release of old limitations. In tending to this tree, they are metaphorically tending to their own inner growth, giving themselves the permission to grow beyond their past. The beauty of these rituals is in their simplicity and profound symbolism. The unconscious mind responds powerfully to symbolic acts because they bypass the rational, critical mind and tap directly into the emotional and intuitive layers of our psyche. This is why the acts Jodorowsky prescribes are often unusual or unexpected. They are designed to shake the person out of their habitual ways of thinking and behaving, creating a space for new possibilities to emerge. One powerful example of this is a ritual Jodorowsky might suggest for someone suffering from unresolved grief. Traditional therapy might focus on discussing the loss, but Jodorowsky's approach would involve a more direct engagement with the emotions. He might advise the person to write a letter to the lost loved one, expressing everything they never got to say. Then, in a symbolic gesture, they might be asked to place the letter in a small boat and set it afloat on a river, allowing it to drift away. This act of letting go, both physically and emotionally, can have a profound impact, giving the person a sense of closure and release. Jodorowsky understands that these rituals can seem strange, even absurd, but he insists that their power lies in their ability to break through the layers of conditioning that keep us trapped in repetitive patterns. Just as a child might respond more readily to a fairy tale than to a dry lecture, the unconscious mind reacts to these symbolic gestures in a way that is both immediate and lasting. The ritual itself becomes a turning point, a moment of personal liberation where the individual steps out of their old narrative and into a new one. A central theme in Jodorowsky's transformative rituals is the idea of facing our deepest fears. Many of the rituals he prescribes are designed to confront the very things that people try to avoid, whether it's fear of failure, rejection, or even death. By facing these fears head-on through symbolic actions, people are able to break the power these fears hold over them. For example, someone who fears aging might be asked to symbolically bury a mirror, representing their attachment to youth and external appearance. This act allows them to let go of superficial fears and embrace the deeper wisdom and freedom that come with age. The transformative rituals in PSYCHOMAGIA are not just about healing, they are about empowerment. They give people the tools to actively participate in their own transformation, rather than passively waiting for change to happen. This is one of the most revolutionary aspects of Jodorowsky's work. His belief that we all have the power to change our lives, if we are willing to take bold, creative action. By engaging in these rituals, we are not just healing our wounds. We are reclaiming our power to shape our destiny. Ultimately, the rituals Jodorowsky describes are a reminder that transformation is not a passive process. It requires courage, creativity, and a willingness to step into the unknown. But for those who are ready to take the journey, these rituals offer a powerful path to personal liberation, a way to break free from the past, release old patterns, and step into a life of greater freedom, joy, and possibility. 6. The role of faith and belief in healing. In the world of Alejandro Jodorowsky, faith isn't just a spiritual concept. It's a powerful force that can drive profound healing. Throughout PSYCHOMAGIA, Jodorowsky explores the deep connection between belief and recovery, illustrating how faith, in its many forms, is often the key that unlocks the door to wellness. For Jodorowsky, the mind and body are inextricably linked, and what we believe has a direct impact on how we heal. At the core of Jodorowsky's philosophy is the idea that the unconscious mind operates in a realm where symbols, metaphors, and rituals are more meaningful than rational thought. In this space, belief plays a crucial role. The unconscious doesn't need scientific proof to accept a truth. It needs a story, an image, or a ritual that resonates with it deeply. This is why Jodorowsky often refers to the unconscious as being superstitious, in the sense that it responds to symbolic acts and rituals in the same way that ancient people might have responded to the rituals of their shamans. One of the most striking examples Jodorowsky shares involves a friend whose child was suffering from a severe illness. Traditional treatments weren't working, and the child's condition continued to deteriorate. Jodorowsky suggested a simple yet profound addition to the treatment. Each time the mother administered the medicine, she should also recite a prayer. The mother, who was raised in a deeply religious environment, began to do so, and to her astonishment, the child's condition began to improve rapidly. Jodorowsky's point was clear. It wasn't just the medicine that healed the child. It was the mother's belief in the power of the prayer that made the difference. This connection between faith and healing is not limited to religious belief. Jodorowsky argues that everyone has faith in something, whether it's a belief in a higher power, a belief in science, or even a belief in the power of the mind itself. What matters is that this belief aligns with the unconscious mind's need for symbolic resolution. When a person fully believes in the efficacy of a ritual, treatment, or act of psychomagic, they are more likely to experience healing because their unconscious mind accepts it as real. Jodorowsky's approach to healing often involves creating what he calls a sacred trap. This is a therapeutic technique designed to engage the patient's belief system in such a way that they become fully invested in the healing process. The trap works by creating a scenario where the patient's faith is activated, often through a ritual that seems to have magical or symbolic significance. Once the patient's belief is engaged, their unconscious mind begins to work towards healing, often producing results that seem miraculous. But what happens when someone doesn't believe? Jodorowsky doesn't see lack of faith as an insurmountable obstacle. Instead, he suggests that even skeptics can be guided towards healing if the right conditions are created. He recounts the story of a man who was a staunch rationalist, dismissive of anything that couldn't be scientifically proven. This man came to Jodorowsky seeking help for a long-standing ailment that traditional medicine had failed to cure. Rather than trying to convince the man to believe in something he didn't, Jodorowsky simply asked him to follow a series of instructions without question. The man, though skeptical, complied out of curiosity. To his surprise, his condition began to improve. Jodorowsky's explanation was simple. The man's unconscious mind was still influenced by the ritual, even if his conscious mind resisted the idea. In this way, Jodorowsky demonstrates that faith and belief are not static qualities. They can be shaped and influenced by the experiences we create. By carefully crafting rituals and symbolic acts that resonate with the unconscious, Jodorowsky is able to tap into the deep well of belief that exists in everyone, whether they are aware of it or not. This is why psychomagic works not just for the devout, but for anyone who is open to the possibility of change. Ultimately, Jodorowsky's exploration of faith in psychomagia is a reminder that healing is as much a psychological process as it is a physical one. The mind, particularly the unconscious, plays a critical role in how we experience and overcome illness. By recognizing the power of belief, we can harness this inner force to aid in our healing, turning what might seem like ordinary acts into profound moments of transformation. In the end, Jodorowsky invites us to consider that faith, whether in a higher power, in ourselves, or in the mysterious workings of the unconscious, is not just a comforting notion, but a vital ingredient in the journey toward true wellness. 7. Empowerment through self-created rituals. Alejandro Jodorowsky believes that true empowerment comes from within and that the most potent rituals are the ones we create ourselves. In Psychomagia, he explores how individuals can harness their creativity to design rituals that speak directly to their unconscious mind, leading to profound personal transformation. These self-created rituals are not just acts of symbolic significance. They are powerful tools that allow us to reclaim our agency, confront our deepest fears, and reshape our reality according to our desires. The essence of these rituals lies in their deeply personal nature. Jodorowsky emphasizes that no one knows your inner world better than you do. Therefore, the rituals you create should be tailored to your unique experiences, challenges, and aspirations. This process begins with self-reflection, an honest exploration of your fears, desires, and the obstacles that stand in your way. Once you have identified these elements, you can begin to craft a ritual that symbolically addresses them. For instance, imagine someone who struggles with self-worth. This person may have internalized negative beliefs from childhood, feeling unworthy of love or success. Jodorowsky would encourage this person to design a ritual that reclaims their sense of value. Perhaps they could write down all the negative beliefs they hold about themselves on slips of paper, then burn them in a ceremonial fire. This act of burning is not just about destroying the paper. It's a symbolic release of the negativity that has been weighing them down. By watching the smoke rise, they can visualize their old beliefs dissipating into the air, leaving them free to embrace a new, more positive self-concept. One of the most powerful aspects of creating your own rituals is the sense of control it gives you over your life. In a world where so much feels out of our hands, the act of designing and performing a ritual is a reminder that we have the power to influence our reality. Jodorowsky often speaks about the importance of intention in these rituals. It's not enough to simply go through the motions. You must infuse your actions with a clear, focused intention. This intention acts as a guiding force, directing the energy of the ritual towards your desired outcome. These rituals can be as simple or as elaborate as you wish. The key is that they resonate with you on a deep, personal level. Jodorowsky suggests that the more you invest yourself in the ritual, emotionally, mentally, and even physically, the more powerful the results will be. For example, if someone is dealing with unresolved grief, they might create a ritual that involves writing a letter to the lost loved one, expressing all the feelings they've been holding inside. They could then bury the letter in a special place, marking it with a small stone or plant as a symbol of growth and healing. This act of burial can serve as a powerful metaphor for laying the past to rest and allowing new life to emerge. Jodorowsky also believes that these rituals should be performed in a sacred space, a place that holds meaning for you and where you feel safe and undisturbed. This could be a quiet corner of your home, a spot in nature, or even a room filled with objects that have personal significance. The environment in which you perform your ritual is crucial, as it helps to create a sense of reverence and focus, allowing you to fully immerse yourself in the experience. The power of self-created rituals lies not only in their ability to address specific issues, but also in their capacity to empower you to take charge of your healing journey. By engaging in these rituals, you are not relying on external forces or waiting for someone else to fix your problems. Instead, you are actively participating in your own transformation, using the tools of symbolism, intention, and creativity to reshape your inner and outer world. Ultimately, Jodorowsky's approach to self-created rituals is about reclaiming your narrative. It's about recognizing that you are the author of your own story, and that through the power of ritual, you can write new chapters that align with your true self. These rituals are not just about solving problems. They are about stepping into your power, embracing your creativity, and living a life that is authentic and fulfilling. As you continue to create and perform these rituals, you may find that you develop a deeper connection to yourself, a greater sense of purpose, and a newfound confidence in your ability to navigate life's challenges. Final words. As we reach the end of this journey, it's clear that the path to healing and personal growth is one of creativity, courage, and deep introspection. Alejandro Jodorowsky's wisdom invites us to explore the depths of our unconscious mind, to break free from the chains of our past, and to embrace the power we have to transform our lives. Each of us holds within a unique potential for healing and empowerment, and the rituals we create, rooted in our own experiences and desires, are the keys to unlocking that potential. Life is not something that simply happens to us. It is something we can actively shape and mold. Through the symbolic acts we perform, the faith we cultivate, and the personal rituals we design, we take control of our narrative. We move from being passive participants in our own lives to becoming the true creators of our destiny. This journey is not always easy, but it is one of the most rewarding endeavors we can undertake. It allows us to break free from old patterns, to heal wounds that may have been passed down through generations, and to step into a future filled with possibility and purpose. As you move forward, I encourage you to take these ideas to heart. Reflect on your own life, your struggles, your dreams, your fears, and consider how you can use the tools we've discussed to create change. Whether it's through a simple ritual of letting go or a more elaborate act of personal transformation, remember that you hold the power to heal and grow. Your journey is uniquely yours, and you have the ability to craft it in a way that is meaningful and fulfilling. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Jodorowsky's transformative work. If you found value in this video, I invite you to like it and share your thoughts in the comments. Your insights and experiences could inspire others on their own paths of growth and healing. Let's continue this conversation, supporting each other as we navigate the beautiful, complex, and ultimately empowering journey of life.